All right, we are live and welcome to the All-Star Sports Report, episode numero uno. I'm Gary Wells, that's my co-host over here, Mike Campigio. He's going to be helping us out with anything all sports related. Mike, been a long time coming. I know you've been itching to get after this podcast here, so why don't you tell the fans here what we're going to be covering, not really just in this episode, but just the generality of what this podcast is going to be doing here.
Well, Gary, I think that's a very good question. For the folks at home that you tuning in and watching, we're going to cover all things sports related, not just NASCAR, not just motorsports. We're going to be talking college football, baseball, hockey, NBA basketball, and any other stuff that happens. Even college basketball starting here pretty soon too. That's be starting here in the next week. But you're going to get a load of everything, which is going to give our fans watching at home a broader view on what's going on in every single sport.
Yeah, yeah, it's exciting. I'm ready to be talking about that. I know we got some other things going on. I know we just had the Martinsville elimination race. I didn't get to see the end of it. I don't even know who won. I don't even know who's in the championship for. Because to be honest with y'all, I really don't care about NASCAR playoffs. I just care about each individual race once we get past race 26 in the Cup schedule. But let's go ahead and talk about it. It seemed like to me it was the Christian Eckes show, and I hope he won because he was leading by like 5 seconds the last time I was watching.
He did. He did win. There was some controversy post
Of
race,
course, so what?
because it's Martinsville and everything
And
like
it's the truck
that.
series. They can't have a clean finish, but continue. I'm listening.
So what happened was they had a late restart. First of all, Taylor Gray moved him up the racetrack. Taylor Gray was in the lead, and both of these guys, Taylor Gray was in a must-win situation, which Eckes could point his way in. But then going into down turn one, uh, Eckes moved him up to the racetrack, put him almost in the fence, kept on going. Then Ben Rhodes came into the fold, and Ben Rhodes has been eliminated from the playoffs already. He decided to use a bump and run on Christian Eckes, got by him, and then a couple laps later, Christian Eckes returned the favor and shipped Ben Rhodes up to the fence. So Christian Eckes went on to win after shipping two people. Taylor Gray was not very happy with him on the cool down lap, tried to put him in the outside wall and was beaten on all over his back bumper. And then they had a nice little post-race confrontation in victory lane.
Sure, they did. Well, Christian Eckes is going on to the Championship Four. Who are the Championship Four drivers for trucks next week at Phoenix?
Let me pull up here. It was Corey Heim, Ty Majeski, Christian Eckes, and Grant Infiger as your final four drivers next Friday night.
Grant Infiger made it to the Championship Four for the millionth year in a row. Good
Yes,
stuff.
he did.
I like Grant Infiger. He's one of my favorite truck drivers. I've really been watching him since he was driving an ARCA full time. So good to see him going for another championship, or at least an opportunity to go after that championship in the truck series. Well, we got Xfinity Cup at Martinsville tomorrow and Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you just go ahead and tell everybody who you're picking for Martinsville?
For race wins, talking about it, let's go.
Sure.
I'm gonna go for the Xfinity Series tomorrow. I'm actually gonna go Eric Almirola. I think he's gonna be a little bit of a playoff spoiler in that 20 machine. So I think Eric Almirola will win the Xfinity Series race, and then in the Cup race on
Starting
Sunday,
from ninth, huh?
he's starting from ninth. Yes,
Okay.
and then for
Cup.
and then for Sunday, I'm going to be a little bit of a homer on this one. People don't get pissed off at me in the comments, but I'm going to pick Chase
I'm
Elliott to
gonna pick
win.
Chase Elliott to win, even though he can't do anything outside of what his car normally does.
So I have Chase Elliott
I,
winning to get to the final four.
I give Chase Elliott a lot of crap, and rightfully so, because Chase Elliott. But I've been talking with all kinds of Chase Elliott fans far and wide. Normally, mostly the normal ones that aren't like, oh my God, Chase is the guy. He's God. It's like,
Yeah.
here's the thing. Chase Elliott has a problem. Here's his problem. He doesn't know how to pass. He doesn't know how to race in this car. He hasn't figured it out. I'm sorry. He just hasn't figured it out. The man sits there. If his car is running fifth, he gonna run fifth with it. If his car's running third, he gonna run third with it. If the car's 20th, he running 20th. Like, he doesn't know how to race this car. He doesn't know how to drive it. Can't pass anybody.
It's the same thing with Kyle Busch too.
Yeah, I mean, if they're stuck in traffic, they just we'll just sit right here. We'll just stay right here in the chaos. We'll just sit here and be mediocre. I'm sorry, I like Chase Elliott, but he's got figured out. He's got figured out. Because I'm sick and tired of hearing, oh, he's the most popular driver. He won't do Netflix.
Yep, that's the
He
problem.
he won't do anything outside of his little cup car. And he sits there and just runs where his car's gonna run. Like, run some Xfinity races. Do Netflix. Put yourself out there. Like, Junior didn't like doing that stuff, but he was the most popular driver and felt like it was his duty to do that.
And that's where I have a problem with it. It was especially with him being the most popular driver and winning that award for 6 years in a row.
Well,
Whatever
even
the heck
Ty
it
Dillon
is.
called him out on this crap and is like, how is this guy our most popular driver?
Yeah, and when I saw that thing last night that Matt Weaver asked him about doing Netflix, and he said, no," I was kind of like, "Oh, that's great," because it's like, bud, you need to help out at least a little. Like, come on.
I mean, Ross Chastain and Joey Logano don't enjoy doing that stuff, but at least they're, they're there.
Right?
They're doing it. I don't know if Joey Logano's doing it this year. I don't know if Ross Chastain is doing it this year, but they did it last year. Like, Ross Chastain's putting himself on podcasts. He doesn't care. He's talking about how he came up through racing. He was on Dale Jr.'s show this week. Like, put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. I get it. He wants to be a good old Georgia boy and stay in Georgia until it's Friday or Saturday, whenever they have to go out to the racetrack, and then he'll fly into the competition meeting on Monday or Tuesday, and that's the extent of it. Doesn't really do much appearances outside of that.
It's a problem.
Stays at home and golfs, I guess. He's into golf.
It's a problem. Because I mean, you saw I mean, look at one of his buddies, Ryan Blaney, was all over Netflix last year, and look how much access Ryan Blaney gave to the fans, and
And,
it's like it's a problem.
Yeah. And I like Chase. I think he's a great driver, but like, the fans want to see as a regular guy, not just some guy that just shows up in a driver suit and helmet and ready to go and be behind the wheel of a race car. I mean, maybe back in the 80s and 90s they appreciated that, but fans these days, they just want to see you as a regular person. You know? But anyways.
What about you? What are you taking for Xfinity and Cup?
Let's see. You know what? I'm going to go with an underdog. You see who's starting on the pole?
Parker Wetzlaff?
I'm going with Parker.
Nice.
I wanted to go with Parker Kligerman, but it's going to be a rough go for good old Parker Kligerman in his second to last race coming from 18th. So we're going to go with Wetzlaff. And, for Cup, I don't know. Man, I don't even know. Who's on the, give me the entry list. We'll just pick one at random. Let's see. You know what? This guy's run decent here in the past. Give me, Denny Hamlin.
Oh, there you go.
Give me Denny Hamlin. I know there are some people that aren't going to be fans of that one, but give me Denny Hamlin for that one. So we got our picks. I'm picking Parker Wetzlaff and Denny Hamlin. I don't know who'd you say you're picking? Eric Almirola and Chase?
Chase Elliott.
Okay, all right. He's picking the obvious choices here. I'm just kidding. I'm picking Denny Hamlin on Sunday. That's an obvious choice. All right, so the Miami finish was pretty good. Honestly, I thought the Miami race was decent overall. And then, of course, Tyler Reddick just full send on the top side in the Larson lane, basically. White flag lap is just like, oh, you left the hole, I'm just going to take it. That was a great pass and a great way to win the race. It was nice. It was clean. Everybody raced each other fair and square. Blaney didn't move up the racetrack just to try to door him and put him into the fence. I thought that was a very respectable finish to the Miami race on this past Sunday.
I thought it was too, and I still couldn't believe how much Ryan Blaney gave Tyler Reddick the outside line, because you knew Tyler was going to send it in there in that last corner. And it's like, I think that's what surprised a lot of people is, it's like, why would you give him the top? It's like, you gave him the top.
Yeah. Well, and I like what Reddick said in his post-race, the Dale Jr. download, they have the winner of each race on his show on Tuesday. And so I was listening to that a little bit this week, and Tyler Reddick was saying, I think Blaney was just kind of waiting to see what I was going to do. And I think Steve Letarte or somebody said this in the post-race on Sunday. He had ran that line the lap before to take the lead. So Blaney was thinking, well, if I just go down here and take the same line I took last time, I should have plenty of momentum and win the race. Um, Honestly, I can't fault Blaney there because, you got to do what you got to do. You took the high side, you just didn't take the high side. Which I don't blame Reddick for doing that. I mean, if Larson was in that spot too, Larson would have done the same thing, and I think anybody would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
If you left a car width or a car width and a half up there open for racing room, and this car, and you got momentum, you got to take the momentum. This car is a slot car.
Yep.
There, I said what I said. It's a slot car.
Well, speaking of Larson too, I mean he fully sent it between Blaney and Austin Dillon and himself, which basically costed him the race too.
Yeah, that was an interesting. But I don't know. Like, obviously, I'm not going to lose my fandom over Larson. I think Larson's the best driver we got in the series right now, but not a good move. I don't think if you're Kyle Larson there, I think that's a bad move. That's a bonehead move. Like, I get it. Austin Dillon is slow there, but like, still got a little bit of time to make that pass if you just think it through a little bit more. Like, yes, there are times where you got to go with your momentum. I just said that with describing Reddick's pass, but at the same time, you got to think your passes out a little bit better too. And he didn't think that, and I think that's a pass that Kyle Larson would want to have back.
Yeah, I agree
for sure. So, yeah, I thought it was a good race. I mean, I thought the Xfinity race was pretty good. I just, there's just something about Miami. It puts on a good show. It does it puts on great racing. But the fact that it's not the championship race is a travesty, in my opinion.
God, hope 2026 it comes back.
Yeah, pretty much. It's kind of funny. Phoenix says they're paying NASCAR, but here's the thing. I'm just going to get into the weeds. NASCAR's getting 50% of that pot that I keep talking about. You've heard me talk about it over and over and over again. There's this pie, okay, that, for the charter deal. NASCAR's getting about 48% of that pie right now because they own half the tracks and they're the sanctioning body. I think NASCAR has a little bit of a say. 2 ISC tracks or NASCAR owned tracks now. I think they have a little bit of a say on where the championship race is going to go. Phoenix could say they're paying all the money all they want, but really, NASCAR has a say on where they want to put that championship race. So right now, it's just not good. No. I get it. Phoenix is packing it out, but I'm telling you, if you would have had the race in Miami, look at the stands in Miami. The last few years they had the championship race. It was selling out. It's selling out. Like, who cares? Like,
and I was gonna say, hopefully the renovations that they're supposedly doing after the spring race next year will help them.
Well, hopefully they get rid of that beehive that's up there in the spotter stand.
Oh yeah, that was bad. that was bad.
I think I heard one of the spotters. I think they said Brandon McReynolds is allergic to bees, like deathly allergic. I thought we were going to see one of the spotters jumping off the roof. Okay, like it is getting pretty intense up there. I would have jumped off the roof.
Oh, I would too.
I'm not a fan of bees. I'm not allergic or nothing, but not a fan of those bees. But
what's going to be, I was going to say real quick before we switch topic, what's going to be very interesting here, especially with the court case that's going on with 2311 and Front Row Motorsports. That's their first court date, I believe, is Monday. But let's say Tyler Reddick wins the championship next week, and how much of a big, FU to that will be to NASCAR. Like, you know what I mean?
I've already said that when he won that race on Sunday, they stripped that car in post-race inspection. They typically don't do that.
Oh, is it? They like fully stripped it? Like, is that the rumor?
No, like they fully stripped it right down to the freaking chassis.
Okay.
Bare chassis, had the parts hanging out and everything. I was like, why don't they have anything to do with the lawsuit?
Very well could be.
I know they tear down, but they don't tear down all the way. They were looking for something. They were trying to stop 2311. I'm just saying. Now, I'm a little bit of a conspiracy theorist. I love conspiracy theories. But I'm just saying. I think they were onto something there. No, I'm really looking forward to the next couple of weeks. NASCAR season's winding down. You got these other sports coming up, but yeah, the lawsuit. I heard it going the other way now. So I heard it, just a week or two ago that 2311 Front Row's got it in the bag. They've got it made. They've got a great game plan. And now I'm hearing like they don't stand a chance.
Oh boy.
NASCAR is going to win the lawsuit. It's kind of like the 2024 election. You don't know who's going to win. You show up, and then it's just going to happen. I mean, it's just one of those things.
Way to drop that in like 4 days before it actually happens.
Hey, 4 days before it actually happens. I mean, I don't really care. I already know who I'm going to vote for, and I know you know who you're going to vote for. And you know what? I don't really care. But go out and vote, people. I'm voting tomorrow.
Yeah, go out and vote, people.
Go out and vote. Okay, use your patriotic duty. And if you don't vote, can I say this on the channel? I'm going to say it anyway. If you don't vote, don't bitch.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And if you bitch, move to Canada. Broke Mike on that one. That was good.
You did.
That's good. That's good.
Oh,
I hope Joe's watching. That was pretty good.
That was good.
That's a pretty good one-liner there. All right, so but in all seriousness, with the lawsuit that NASCAR's got going on right now with those two teams, apparently now, because they don't have access to the documents because they didn't sign the charter deal, my thing is they have the documents if they saved them, if they're smart, which I'm assuming they're very smart over at those two companies because they have lawyers too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I have a feeling they got some really good smart business people. They probably saved all the documents and they got it all in a row. Because basically what NASCAR said in the charter deal, if you sign the charter deal, you can't sue them.
Oh really?
But then they also said if you don't sign the charter deal, you still can't sue them. Because you're still willingly opening and racing in their series. So
interesting. Very interesting.
So it's gonna be interesting. I really do think that Front Row and 2311 do have a case. I think they win. Mostly because there's not another stock car series to NASCAR's level out there. There's nothing. They don't have another Cup series, another Xfinity series, another Truck series. There's nothing out there.
Yeah.
In the United States, there's not. I mean, Mexico has a Truck series, but it's NASCAR Mexico. Again, NASCAR affiliated, NASCAR Europe, NASCAR Canada, NASCAR Mexico, NASCAR.
It's all affiliated.
The NASCAR Wheel and All American Tour, the Super Lates, there's some competition there. They got ASA and they got the Cars Tour. So they're not a monopoly there, but they're a monopoly everywhere else. So they own most of the big racetracks, and they have the one sanctioning body. So something's going to get split up. Something has to give. I'm curious to see what is going to give.
Oh, yeah.
Really, I think what it should be is NASCAR should just stick to being the sanctioning body. Or if you don't want to be the sanctioning body no more, own the racetracks. Stick to running the racetracks and let somebody else run the series, whether that's, Dale Jr. and the Cars Tour, or, you relinquish ARCA and let ARCA be its own thing again.
That's a terrible decision what they did. I mean, how bad that series is, it's bad.
Yeah, ARCA shouldn't have sold itself. They sold their souls. I think you could really make a case if ARCA wasn't owned by NASCAR right now. I think you could make a case to where ARCA would have been the next NASCAR. Because if you think about it, USAC used to have a stock car series back in really all the way up till 80s, maybe early 90s. ARCA basically was the NASCAR of the Midwest and the West. There for a long time. They were racing the Midwest, Northeast whenever NASCAR wasn't around. And there would be occasional events where they would companion, like Daytona, Talladega, Pocono, Kansas. And even if they wouldn't companion on a Cup weekend, it'd be one of the 3 national touring series. So, I mean, again, I think you could make a case, to where NASCAR would get split up. We'll just see how it goes. Part of me thinks that it's going to get settled outside of court. The teams are going to get what they want, and NASCAR is still going to keep what they got. I think that's what's going to happen. Because you can only be above the law so long. That's just and NASCAR has been above the law for the last 25 years since Senior died. So 23. And you could probably you could make an argument that really since 2000 when they signed the new TV deal, or even 99 when they signed the new TV deal, that's when NASCAR started taking control of everything. So let's look at it this way. When they signed that original TV deal in 99, 2000, where it was Fox, NBC, and Turner.
Yep.
Those were your 3 companies.
Yep.
Okay. So, do you know what they did before that time when they signed that TV deal?
I don't actually.
Okay. So the reason, so back in the day, what you would have to do is if you got the NASCAR schedule, like the Cup schedule. I'm talking just Cup. I ain't talking about Xfinity. I ain't talking about trucks. But
Mm-hmm.
just Cup. You had to get the schedule in the Winston Cup scene,
Mm-hmm.
laminate that crap, and put it on your refrigerator because there were so many different TV channels. They left it up to the racetracks to
Okay.
get a TV partner. Well, the NASCAR took that away because the TV partner, the tracks got to work directly with the TV partner. They got an X amount of money, and then TV paid the rest. That's how that
Okay.
worked back in the day. Now it doesn't work like that. NASCAR controls the TV deal, and
Mm-hmm.
now I think the TV deal is controlling NASCAR a little bit. Because think about it: if NASCAR had their way, the races would be about noon or 1 o'clock every week,
Yeah.
competing
Yeah.
right up there with the NFL. They do every week. But because they don't have that control anymore, because of the TV deal control everything, that's why it's on at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Not the greatest deal in my opinion if you're NASCAR. So again, there's some things that got to give with this lawsuit. I think we're going to see some things change. So I really do give kudos to Bob Jenkins at Front Row Motorsports and Michael Jordan, Denny Hamlin at 2311 for like stepping up and being like, hey, if these guys ain't going to do it, we'll do it
Yeah.
because we got money,
Exactly.
we got billions of dollars. A guy
Yeah.
like Richard Childress, who was forced to sign his deal, ain't got billions of dollars. This is his only business. Now, could Rick
Mm-hmm.
Hendrick have stepped up because he's got car businesses and whatever on the side? Sure, but I think he bought into the method to his own madness. You know how sometimes when you're trying to buy a car and you just get car fatigue, you're just like, sign it. I just need a car.
Yeah.
I think that's where Rick Hendrick was. He was just like, I'm signing it because we need a race and we want to keep moving forward. I think that's where
Yeah.
Rick Hendrick was at. So you could arguably say that Rick Hendrick and a lot of the team owners were under duress when they signed this charter deal. That's not good either.
No.
So there's got to be something that gives here, and I think the only way that 2311 in Front Row knew that they could get NASCAR to maybe give a little bit was by suing them.
I could see that.
that,
Yeah.
but that's the only thing that I can logically think of. So, but that's my tangent about the NASCAR stuff. So
It'll be very interesting to see, though. We'll keep everybody up
yeah,
up
well,
to date going forward.
I try to look into it on Twitter and internet, searches every day. Look it up, guys. NASCAR lawsuit. I mean, it's right there. It's right there for your viewing. I did hear some things. Dave Stern,
Adam Stern.
Adam Stern. There we go. He was saying, and like the Daily Downforce was talking about how the teams might not advocate, and NASCAR's going.
Okay.
That kind of came out within the last couple of days. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just curious to see what's going to happen. Until a lawyer or a judge says something, that's when I'm going to believe it a little bit more, but we'll see. And like you said, the first case is what, this Monday?
Yep.
So it's going to be wild here the next couple of months in NASCAR and with our world as it is.
Oh, yeah.
Because, go vote.
Go vote.
It's Tuesday. All right, so next year I see we got on the list White Sox hiring a new.
Yes, and if Joe is watching at home or anybody from my friend group that's Sox fans watching here in Chicago, yes, we hired Will Venable. He was the bench coach for the Texas Rangers the last couple of years. He also worked under Alex Cora in Boston for a few years, and he also worked on the north side of town and on the Cubs as one of their bench coach. But he did win a World Series with Texas as their bench coach, which was 2022. So he's bringing a little bit of championship pedigree to the organization. He talked about yesterday in his little press conference that he did that he wants to bring a winning culture back to the White Sox, build a culture that's been an issue around the clubhouse for the past couple of seasons. That's a whole nother off-season topic that we can discuss at some point. Selling the team, but I think Venerable is going to be a decent hire. We're going to have to see what they do in the offseason, what offseason moves that they make with free agents and trades. Saw today that Yoan Moncada's deal, he's not coming back, and that's another, I think, $5 million off the books that they can use. I'm pretty sure it's $5 million. It could be a little bit higher than that, but they're making moves, and we'll see
I'm a baseball
we'll see what
novice.
happens.
I just want to say I'm a baseball novice. I don't know a darn thing. So bench coach, is that like the assistant to the manager? The
Yes, you have a
assistant
couple
manager?
bench coaches. Yeah, you have
Okay.
basically, yeah.
Okay. So it's kind of like in football, you have like the head coach, and then you have the assistant head coach. So he was kind of like one of them guys.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So, it's a hire. I don't, and like how I view it with all sports now, I don't care if it's baseball, football, basketball. I mean, the coach can only do so much, right? Like they could set a culture, they could lead the team, they could set the scheme, they could do whatever. But at the end of the day, it comes down to people. Everything's in the people business. You look at racing's a people business, sports is people business. It's all about people. So if you can get the right people in that locker room or in that clubhouse, sorry, baseball, they have a clubhouse. They have a locker room. They have a clubhouse. You can get the right people in the clubhouse there in Chicago, y'all might be able to make some noise. But if you keep sticking with the status quo,
Mm-hmm.
Jerry sell the team. I think you're gonna be sitting at the bottom of the league.
Oh yeah,
Like,
and that's something they need to do, and that's this argument that Sox fans have made for the last couple seasons: spend money, but Jerry won't spend money, and then it's like, well, you see how. We'll talk about the World Series here in a moment, but the Dodgers and the Yankees had the highest payroll in baseball.
hmm,
Why do you think that
hmm,
is? Because they
hmm,
spend,
hmm.
and spend.
Well, and they also have people going to their games too, which helps bring in that revenue. And people are buying their stuff, which helps again
Yeah,
bringing in that revenue to make them to be able to turn around and then buy everybody.
it's true, yes, but I think Sox fans, we got our hype so much up from the rebuild that happened from 2016 to
Well, that
2020.
is true because you all went to playoffs a couple times.
We went to the playoffs in 2020 and lost, even though that was the COVID year.
Kind of like how
2021
you
was the
football, the COVID year.
2021 was the year, won the AL Central Division for like the first time since 2005 or no, 2008 I should say, because that was the blackout game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we lost in 4 games to Houston, which I mean, 2 of those games could have went either way.
Mm-hmm.
We could have went 5 games against them,
Mm-hmm.
but 2 of them could have went either way. And then we didn't do anything really in the offseason from 21 to 22 to add on to what we had.
So you're paying
And
the
then
price.
you paid the price. And the manager, I mean, not Terry Francona, jeez.
That's the Red Suit manager.
Yeah, oh my God, Robin Ventura. What am I trying to think?
He was the
Tony
Cardinals'
La
old
Russa.
manager. Yeah,
There it
Tony.
is,
Yeah.
Tony La Russa.
Mm-hmm.
God, I'm going through like so many managers in my head right now. But hiring Tony La Russa was probably a mistake to begin the whole thing because a lot of us wanted AJ Hinch, and you see what the Tigers are doing this year.
They got
He's the
AJ
manager.
Hinch.
They do. And
Mm-hmm.
AJ Hinch won the World Series, even though he was the manager of the cheated team in 2017. So,
Okay.
but still,
But isn't baseball like the most encouraged sport for cheating? I
yeah,
mean, they
it
had the
is. There's been a lot
steroids.
of,
You steal signs. Like,
yeah,
isn't baseball? Don't
it's,
they encourage cheating? I mean, obviously they don't encourage steroids in the Hall of Fame, but I mean, hey, yeah, they encourage cheating. Just saying. Happens all the time. I mean,
we'll
all
see.
sports have cheaters. I mean, you look at Michigan football and steal your sign. Saying,
Yeah.
way of doing things. All right, so game 6 was it game 6 yesterday?
That was game 5.
5. Game 5. Never mind. Dodgers won the World Series. The freaking Yankees choked it, and they did it. They had a live choke job on national television, and apparently they were
Sorry,
up
AJ.
5-0. And
They were.
and they blew it. If I had
Sorry,
a
AJ.
Discord soundboard right now, I would play the sound. You blew it. But unfortunate. Womp womp.
But give credit to the Dodgers, man. Talking about their postseason as a whole, they went to a winner take all. Well, actually, they were down 2-1 to San Diego in the NLDS, and they forced the game 5 and won in 5 games over the Padres. In the last couple years, the Dodgers have lost in the division series, and there's a lot of heat on Dave Roberts, the manager, especially if they would have lost that series again, because then it would have been like I think it was on one of the
we want your head.
yeah.
On a platter.
Exactly. And because actually one of the guys on the TV broadcast during one of the games was saying that if Dave Roberts lost that game to the Padres in game 5, he would have been fired.
I believe it. I believe it.
But for them to rebound from that, go to the NLCS, and I mean, they really dominated the NLCS. I mean, none of those games in the NLCS, and I'm sorry for Rob, that's a Mets fan, none of those games were competitive. They were all blowouts, every single one of them.
It was all
And
Mets
then
or it was all
Dodgers.
Dodgers. I mean, it ended up being all Dodgers in the end, but yeah, none of those games were competitive. I do want to ask you this though: was Dave Roberts there during like 2017, 18 when they got a couple pennants and they went to like the World Series but lost?
He was.
Okay,
And he
so
was he was in,
he's been there for a while, so he's been able to take him there. Just couldn't get the monkey off his back, and now he's got that monkey.
he won the title in 2020 when they won.
Yeah,
So this is his second one.
Yeah, second one in 4 years because they won 2020, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so
Correct.
second one in 4 years. I mean, that's pretty good. Pretty good.
It is very good. Now, if you're looking for a Yankees perspective on this, Juan Soto is a free agent this year, and that's scaring a lot of Yankees fans because he can basically go to any team he wants, and he's going to get a crap load of money.
Yeah, that's true. That's going to be interesting how the offseason of baseball plays out. I'm going to try to get into a little more, but it's just the season's so long 162 games. I don't watch that stuff every single day. No thanks. I'm good. I could barely keep up with the NBA's 82 or hockey's 82. I mean, it's just, because, you got college basketball and college football. We'll talk about those obviously later on here, but moving on. NBA, LeBron and Bronny. I heard Bronny's going to G League.
He's not been very good as far as I've heard in his first few games. I mean, LeBron got what he wanted because LeBron runs the Lakers. I mean, I'm sorry.
You believe in that too, huh?
Oh yeah. Why would they draft his son? Like,
Well, I heard. So this is another conspiracy theory that I heard. Again, y'all know I'm into conspiracy theories. I heard that for this one in particular, that if the Lakers didn't draft LeBron Jr., that whatever team he would have gotten drafted to or picked up by, LeBron could demand a trade. That was the only trade clause that he had to go play for whatever team had Bronny. That's what I heard.
Huh. Okay.
I don't know how true that is. I don't know, but that was a conspiracy I heard. And I really haven't watched the NBA much since 2018, 2019. Just because the games are so hard to watch.
Oh, yeah. Outside the postseason, it's so hard to watch now.
Yeah, because you have to have, well, it's not Bally Sports anymore, but you have FanDuel Sports Network, and it's like, why are you putting every game on streaming? Put the game on YouTube TV. Put the game, where I could buy a package to YouTube TV. If you charge me $8 a month, I'd watch it. $10, here you go. I'll go watch the Pacers play, or I'll go to a game, and I go to about 1 to 2 games a year for the Pacers.
Can we shout out Inside the NBA? Everybody watching at home, please go and watch that.
Go watch that. So
this is the final season.
Yeah, the last year for it. So,
and the Inside the NBA is probably one of the best post game shows ever.
Post, pre, during.
Yeah,
love watching their coverage. Even though they don't talk about the NBA all the time, but when they do talk about it, they are pretty insightful. Especially it's supposed to go 1, 2, 3, not 1, 2 back to 1.
That's funny. That's good. I remember that. That was funny.
That was good. That was a good time. So LeBron and his son, yeah, okay, whatever. Who cares? Pacers, Knicks, and Celtics, three-team race in the East. I'm biased. I hope it's the Pacers. You could make it all you want about, the Pacers got to the conference finals on injuries. I don't care. They got to the Eastern Conference Finals. What did your team do? Oh, that's right. They're probably picking the lottery, weren't they? Oh, man. See, Pacers, if they can stay healthy all year, I think they've really got a competitive shot to win the division. And I know they got Milwaukee in the division. They got Antetokounmpo out there. But I really do think they got a shot at the division this year. And to run the table. We haven't seen the Pacers in the finals since they first built Conseco Field.
How's that, 99?
99-2000 season. Made the finals in 2000. That was the last time the Pacers were in the that was the last time they were in the NBA finals, was when Conseco was first built. So
we don't need to bring up 03 and 04, how that travesty happened.
Is that the Malice at the Palace year?
Yeah.
That team could have won each of the year. They really could have. If they would have gotten their act together and they didn't fight the Pistons, you were up by 30. You were up by 30. I mean, you were gonna beat the Pistons. That year, that team was so good. That team was so good. And honestly, even the years where we had Hibbert and Paul George and George Hill, David West.
That's another one.
I mean, you had the super team. You had the dream team, or what were they called? Big Three, something like that.
Yeah. Problem is the going up against the Heat during that era.
Yeah, and the Heat were stacked. I mean, Mario Chalmers was not a scrub at point guard. He was pretty solid. Then they added Ray Allen, the best sharpshooter ever. I mean, outside of Reggie Miller and Steph. Okay, I mean,
Yep.
Ray Allen's right up there. I mean, then they had freaking Birdman coming off the bench. They had Mike Miller.
Chris Anderson. Yep.
They had, I mean,
Udonis Haslem, Bosch.
Bosch. I mean, that team was just stacked all across the board. I mean, if you would have taken their second five, they probably could have started for the Suns.
Probably.
I mean, or another team. I mean, their first set of five and their second set of five, especially that second set of five, there were probably 2 or 3 guys that could have started anywhere else. I mean, they really could.
Well, and that was the era too before you guys got good with the Pacers. That was the era the Bulls could have went back to the finals or the conference finals.
They had Derrick Rose. They had Noah. What was his name?
Gibson? Carlos Boozer.
Yeah.
Taj Gibson, Luol Deng. You know, all those boys.
They were always missing. I thought they were kind of missing their Reggie Miller type, a guy that could sit there and shoot.
And a lot of opinions, Bulls fans' opinions after they lost in the conference finals in 11, 2012 was probably going to be the year. But we all know what happened in game one.
Yeah.
Yep. We all know what happened in game one of the playoffs. And they went right off cliff.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean that I think that destroyed Derrick Rose's confidence the rest of his career. I mean, it didn't pan out the rest of the way. He was the same player after that.
No, and they had another situation against Cleveland when LeBron went back to Cleveland. They were up 2-1 and easily should have been up 3-1, but they blew game 4 and LeBron beat him on a buzzer beater.
And 6.
Yeah.
And yeah. Good old LeBron. Ruined the fun for everybody.
But
but that's what I always kind of thought Chicago was missing there in those years with Derrick Rose. That they had themselves a Paul George type player who was a really good shooter. If they just had somebody that could shoot the ball, I think they would have gone pretty far. But they didn't have that guy. They just didn't.
No.
They really haven't had. I mean, I know we talk about Michael Jordan being the greatest player of all time, which my roommate's a big LeBron fan. He thinks LeBron's the greatest of all time, but I think it's Jordan.
No.
I think it's Jordan.
Jordan.
You go undefeated in the playoffs. Sure, LeBron's had a long career. He's played 1 billion years. Well, he came out of the league. He came out of the draft when he was 18. Of course, he's going to have the longest career. I mean,
Kobe was the same way.
Yeah, Kobe was the same way. I still think Kobe's better than LeBron.
I do too.
To me, I look at it this way: with Michael, Kobe, LeBron's all the way down there somewhere. Okay, because you got Larry Bird, you got Jerry West, you got,
Oscar,
Shaquille O'Neal, even Charles Barkley, even though people don't want to give him enough credit because he didn't win a championship.
I mean, you can even argue Reggie Miller and Steph Curry are better.
Yeah, Steph Curry, Ray Allen. I mean, we could sit here all night. Vince Carter. I mean,
we could.
I mean, we could. Tim Duncan. I mean, we could sit here all night and talk about it. But no, I think I think the Pacers are going to be a dark horse. I know everybody's wanting to look at New York and Boston because those are big markets, but Pacers are going to be ones to look out for.
What does Pat McAfee say? Tyrese Hallishot or something like that?
Something like that, yeah. Halliburton's a heck of a player, man. I mean, I'm so glad that worked out for the Pacers when they were able to trade for him.
How was he in college? Because I'm trying to remember his college career.
He was pretty good in college. Let's look that up. Tyrese Halliburton.
Because I don't remember much of his college career.
He went to Iowa State. He played a couple.
Oh,
years.
Okay.
That's probably why we never really heard of him because he went to Iowa State.
But I mean, what a pickup for the Pacers, man.
Yeah, the Kings drafted him first, and then he got traded halfway through that year. That was the what's his name? That was the Sabonis trade. That was part of the Sabonis trade. when we traded Sabonis to the Kings, we got Halliburton. I think a couple picks. I think we traded a couple players and got a couple players and a couple picks back. And honestly, I think they made the right choice getting rid of Sabonis and keeping Miles Turner. Although people have been saying Miles Turner needs to leave the Pacers for a million years, ever since he's been drafted, they've been saying, "Oh, Miles Turner wants out of Indianapolis." It's like, well, he keeps signing deals, he keeps taking our money, so evidently he wants to stay, and management likes him, so we'll stick around. Which I hope he does, because Miles Turner has been a very good player. I think he's improved as a big man. Excuse me, because it seemed like there for a while he was just a shooter. He's just stretch five. But he's really adapted to playing center in the NBA really well. He's done a good job. But yeah, I think the Pacers, Knicks, Celtics, yeah, those are going to be your top three in the East, at least as of right now. Steph Curry, he's hurt again.
He is. He hurt his ankle the other night. And I mean, we know how much the Warriors have fallen off since their last title.
And even their last title, it wasn't like when they won it, earlier, because they didn't have Kevin Durant. It was kind of a grinded out kind of a title they had to earn. They really had to earn that one.
It was a lot like 2015 when they won their first. Their last one was a lot like their first.
And honestly, I think Steph's at the end of his career. I mean, look at Klay Thompson. He's at the end of his career too, even though he's on the Mavs.
Clay is, ever since he got really hurt, he is falling off a cliff.
Yeah. Well, apparently when he played, because he's on the Mavs now.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I guess when he came in the other night, he shot like 8 threes in a row and made them all. Now, I think he's going to be similar. He's going to be that type of guy to where, thanks for the like or share, whatever that was, AJ. Thank you. But I really do think Clay's another guy where you could talk about greatest shooter of all time. You could put him in that list. But yeah, he's definitely not the same player. And I don't think the Mavs are expecting him to be. I mean, heck, he's a backup to Luka.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just going to come off the bench. He's going to score 10, 15, and
he's going to bring them their championship like experience.
He's going to bring them the championship experience. But I really do think that he's kind of more of like what Ray Allen was to the Heat.
The Heat, yeah.
I think that's what he's kind of bringing for the Mavs. Now, obviously, he's not as old as Ray Allen by any stretch, because Ray Allen was darn near 40 when he played for the Heat. But I do think it's that same concept that applies there. You won a couple championships already. You've been to the finals a few times. Now it's like, okay, all right, here you go. Go play for this team, and go be sixth man of the year. I mean, that's pretty much everything. Klay Thompson has won a lot of awards. I don't think he's won sixth man of the year, and he's got a really good shot to do it here for the Mavs. He really does. The thing is, if he just stay healthy.
We just think about that. You just think about that run overall from what the Warriors were from like 2014 all the way through 22.
I was really
like
watching
21.
them and I like how who's the guy that's next to Chuck on Inside the NBA? Not Ernie.
Kenny Smith.
Kenny Smith. I like what he said about the Warriors. Mark Jackson started it.
He did. I watched him when
Steve Kerr put kerosene on it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mark Jackson was a very good hire, because I watched Warrior games periodic. Probably. But I watched Warrior games periodically from, the Baron Davis days to Monte Ellis and then the Steph, and then it's just like to see how that team evolved over those many years. Yeah. It's wild.
Yeah, when they got Clay, when they got Steph, those were a couple good drafts back to back. I mean, those were some good pickups they had to do there. And I just wish they would have given Mark Jackson one more year, because I think like the next year or the year after they win the title. It's just like, okay, he would. I mean, I didn't think it was that much of an upgrade, honestly, from Mark Jackson to Steve Kerr at the time. Now I do think that Steve Kerr is one hell of a basketball coach. I mean, look at the way he's going to work. Even in the years where they've been riddled with injuries, he still finds a way to scheme and make the Warriors better than what they are. But man, I just wish Mark Jackson would have gotten a chance there and won a ring with them, because he never got a chance to do it at Indiana.
All right.
It sucks, but I mean, he's doing a great job on television.
He's not on ABC.
Oh yeah, he's not on ABC anymore. That's right. He got
him
fired.
And Jeff Van Gundy, Jeff Van Gundy. They're not there anymore. because it's Doris Burke and it was Doris Burke and JJ
Oh,
Redick, but JJ Redick's the head coach of the Lakers now.
yeah, now it's
So
probably Mark Breen and Dorsberg. Man, I listened to one NBA game with them on TV, and I muted it. It's like listening to Jamie Little call truck race.
yeah, right.
All right. Okay. NHL Utah's hockey club, or whatever they're called.
They're doing very well. I'll touch on real quick that the Clippers got their new arena up and running
Oh,
for the
yeah.
NBA real quick.
Yeah, that's right.
That arena
It's
is
nice.
fantastic. And that wall that they have behind like the basketball hoops brings out like a college atmosphere for a pro game.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah. I like the Clippers' new arena. It's very, very nice.
Them and Golden State, because Golden State
They made the
arena.
upgrades at Conseco Fieldhouse look like child's play.
Yeah, right.
But the upgrades that they did at Cambridge is very nice. It is a very nice arena. Here's the thing. You know how in the Boston Garden they had the green seats or the yellow seats or whatever for a while.
Mhm.
Like forever at Conseco, even when Banker's Life had the naming rights, it was green seats. I know Cambridge took it over, but it would have been nice to have them keep the green seats. Like a nice touch
Yeah.
to the arena, because it's always
Yeah.
been green. Outside, it's still green. Keep the seats green. Anyways, maybe that's my boomer side coming out there for a moment, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it is a nice stadium they got there. Clippers new arena is very nice. So, but yeah, NHL, Utah's doing well. Vegas on a roll. I mean, let's not talk about the Blackhawks and how much they suck.
Yeah.
They're
So
terrible.
I mean, so much for off-season moves that they made to help rebuild this team, at least be somewhat better than last year. But it's not panning out. Utah's been very good out the gates.
Sell the team,
They
Jerry.
were. Jerry doesn't own the Blackhawks. Yeah, you were close, but
close.
it's not him. Not him.
Well, he owns a TV deal, doesn't he?
Yes, he owns the TV deal, and don't get me started on that TV deal.
Delete the TV deal, Jerry.
Yeah, right. There you go. But Utah out the gate, they were really good to start the year. Winnipeg, the Jets in Winnipeg were undefeated all the way up till the last game. They were 9-0, 10-0, and then they lost. So Winnipeg starting out hot. Rob's Devils and AJ's Rangers are 1-2 in the Metropolitan to start the year. The defending Stanley Cup champions Florida Panthers are leading the Atlantic. So, yeah, a lot of the remaining names that we saw last year are kind of toward the top. Dallas is kind of out the gate slow.
They always kind of start out slow, if I recall.
They do,
And
but it's going to be a long stretch over an 82 games. And then Oilers. The Oilers are the big thing that everybody was talking about going to the Stanley Cup final, and they're struggling. Yeah. They are struggling.
So it's kind of like that team that has, in the NFL, the Super Bowl hangover. I do think that there is a little bit of that in the other sports too, where you get there or you win it, or even if you don't win it, there's still a hangover.
There was that big old viral clip of McDavid in the locker room on their NHL has their own Drive to Survive type series. So like any sports now is having this behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
But McDavid was going crap after Game 7.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everybody has their own hard knocks, it seems like nowadays.
That they do. Yeah. But NHL is going to be very interesting to see. Utah is going to be one of the big stories all season long. Yeah. Vegas, all season long, really. Yeah,
for sure. Well, let's talk about the NFL, but I'm going to save the other thing for last. I don't want to.
You don't want to talk about the main topic that everybody's been talking about?
Let's talk about how much the Niners are struggling. And honestly, I can't say I'm surprised that the Niners are struggling because.
What? I was going to say the whole NFC West is terrible.
It's really saying they're terrible. I mean, I don't think it's going to be one of those things where the winner of the division is going to be like 2010, where they're like 6-10 or 7-9. I don't think it's that bad. I think I think somebody's going to have a winning record. It's probably going to be like 9-8 or 10-7. But I'm not surprised to see the Niners struggling because I think they've been relying too heavily on Christian McCaffrey the last couple of seasons. Because as much as I like Mason, I think he's a great running back, but he's no CMC.
No.
He ain't. I mean, he's not the guy that's going to be able to sit there and run the ball, catch the ball, throw the ball sometimes. I mean, pass block. He's not. He's not the all-in-one back. He's the guy that's like. He's kind of like the Clinton Portis. Okay, I kind of the way I look at Kyle Shanahan's offense is very similar to how I looked at Mike Shanahan's offense in Denver, to where it didn't matter who you put back there at running back, they're still going to get 1,000 yards guaranteed. I don't care who it is. Now, do I think that CMC is kind of similar to Terrell Davis? Yes, I do. Where Terrell Davis was an all-around good running back for the Broncos, 90s when they won the Super Bowls.
Yeah.
I think he's that type of player. However, they still have very good running backs after that, but they weren't as they're good, and you could show the offensive line was good and the scheme was good, but Terrell Davis was able to get those 2,000-yard seasons where Clinton Portis and those other guys would get maybe 1,500, 1,600. And there were even arguments. I know Mark Schlereth, because he was the main offensive guard that played for the Broncos in that era. He was saying that, like, we had TDE and this year, and this year, and this year, he would have been 1,800, 1,900, 2,000. He would have gotten another 2,000 yards.
Yeah.
So this kind of depends on, the personnel. But if the Niners had a running back to go with Mason really good, like a receiving back, or maybe a guy that has a little bit more power than he does, because Mason's got a lot of power, I don't think they'd be struggling as bad. And then they just lost Brandon Ayuk for the season. Didn't he tear his ACL or something?
Yeah, and he just had that big old off-season deal with a contract that he kept holding out, and then they thought they were going to get traded, and then they finally got the deal done, and yeah, now he's hurt.
Yeah. So Brandon Ayuk's out for the year. Deebo Samuel's
Deebo
been kind of in and out of the lineup. So they've been kind of relying on their second and third.
Kittle's been quiet too.
Yeah.
We got somebody in the chat.
Yeah. Well, we'll get back to that. So,
Is it Joe?
Thank you for liking the stream. Yeah, AJ has liked it. We got a new follower actually. Davia Weir. I don't know, but with us, with me anyway. I don't know. Anyways, we're here.
Okay.
So.
Well, why before we get into what we were talking about, why don't we get to our sponsor ad read? Don't you think?
Yeah,
It'd be a good time to do a little bit of a break.
It'd be a little bit of a break here. 52 minutes in. Should have earlier, but here we are. W Energy, the new recent sponsor of All Star 15 TV, and of course Warrior Enterprises. But we're on All Star 15 TV's channel, so we got to talk about them. Okay, they're the ones that let us crash here, trash their place. I'm just kidding. They don't let us trash, but thanks to AJ for letting us do this, and Joe, thanks for all the graphics and the opening video for this. Well done. If you need graphic design work done, hit up Joe Hutchings, JVM Graphics. You won't be disappointed. Find them on Facebook. They're great people. And he didn't even pay me to say that. See that, Joe? I'm getting you free advertisement. W Energy Drinks. They are W is a brand of energy drinks designed to be clean, flavorful, and focused on energy. Use All Star 15 TV, that is AS15 TV, to save 10% on your orders. Visit w.gg to place your order today.
Hey.
So,
sorry.
AS15 TV. 10%. But yeah, I'm not surprised that the Niners are struggling, and their defense isn't as good as last year. I mean, they still got the same people a little bit, but they're kind of struggling a little bit too. But I think just that offense is the focal point of their struggles. They're down their first receiver, their second receiver has been in and out of the lineup, and Deebo's kind of that guy that could do everything. So I'm not surprised. I guess you can call it a Super Bowl hangover because they were in the Super Bowl last year, but they really haven't been that good year, in my opinion. It's just, I think they'll be one of those teams where I think he'll go 7-10 or 8-9, because I think Shanahan's that good of a coach if they can keep the rest of the team together. But it just seems like they're always that one player that keeps them from
short.
Yeah, like there forever it was because of the quarterback. Well, then they got the quarterback problem fixed finally because he doesn't get hurt all the time, and now it's the running back because he's old. It's just like they got to be able to put all those pieces together. Chiefs undefeated. Not surprised there. Really, you'd think it'd be because of their offense, but it's because of their defense.
I was gonna say they have not played probably like top to bottom. They probably not played one good game all season long. like from top to
Yeah.
bottom.
But I mean, they've always kind of been that way though. Like we talk about, oh, is the Chiefs dynasty over the first like 4 to 6 weeks of the season, 7 weeks of the season, and then they end up getting it. It's usually right around when they have their bye, which I think is coming up here in a couple weeks. That's when after the bye, it seems like they kind of regroup, and that's when you really start to see the offense take off. Because I mean, Rice has been in and out of the lineup; he's hurt now. You've got Xavier Worthy, who's young. You've got Juju Smith-Schuster, who's in and out. I mean, the
They
only
just
thing
got DeAndre Hopkins.
they did just get DeAndre Hopkins, but he doesn't know the system, so now they got to put some plays in for him that he's going to know really good. Really, the only constant has been the running back. What's his name? Played at Rutgers. Number 10. Pacheco.
Yeah.
Really, their only constant has been Pacheco and Edwards-Helaire. They're 2 running backs. And then, obviously, of course, Patrick Mahomes. But
And Kelsey.
Yeah. That's really been their only consistent, 4 players that they've had that's been rock solid over the last few years. And their offensive line's been playing really good. But their defense, man. Steve Spagnuolo.
They just brought in Josh Usay from New England too. That's another pickup that they brought in.
Got him.
Yeah, they brought him in from New England.
So it's an edge rusher. Ooh.
Yes, because they traded a 6th round pick for him, and Bill Belichick had a whole conversation with McAfee on the show on Monday about it.
They got him for a 6th round pick.
Yeah, 6th round pick.
Oh, they're stealing. They're stealing candy from a child. That's wild. A 6th round pick, and the Patriots said yes.
Yep.
Man, I'm very high on Uche. I think he's a very good player. Very underrated.
I'm just gonna pull up the trade details real quick just to make sure.
That's a steal. That might be the steal before the trade deadline. The trade deadline is Monday, or is it Tuesday?
It is Tuesday on Go Vote Day, everybody.
Sorry, y'all are seeing my little stuff here. But yeah, I mean so that's good. So covered that. Diggs out for the year. With a torn ACL. That stinks. I don't think the Texans are going to miss a beat, though. I mean, they were better with Diggs, but at the same time, I still think they're going to be just as good because it's the same personnel as last year. They're in the receiving core.
So,
what?
You want to hear
Is it a 7th round pick, not a 6th round pick?
2026 6th round pick. That's all they gave up for him.
Man, I think the Chiefs are the new Patriots. But it's kind of true, though. You think about it. When Andy Reid was in Philly, they struggled with, he struggled with time management, play calling, and he didn't quite have the players to get over the hump. Now you look at it here in Kansas City, play calling, he knows what the heck he's doing with his time management. Like he is on it, and he's really good. So it's amazing how much that has kind of turned over the last few years for Andy Reid. And he's going to be sticking around for a while. People have been thinking, oh, he's going to retire. He ain't going to retire until he's ready to retire.
Yeah.
I guess if you want to talk about it, we'll talk about it. Anthony Richardson.
No, I'm gonna let you. He
got
benched
benched
on this one,
as he should have. He really should have been benched at half for tapping out of the game. You are the leader of the Colts. Okay, I don't care. I don't care if you're 22. I don't care if you're 32. I don't care if you're 52. If you're the quarterback for the Colts, you are the leader of the team. Whether you want to be the leader or not, you are the captain of the team. I know people that have had cancer, and they will work through their cancer treatment, and they didn't stop working until it killed them, literally. Okay, Richardson, you want to tap out because you're tired? Get off the field. Just retire. Get out. I don't want you here. Because if you're 22, 23, I get it. You ran around a lot those 3 plays. You're tired. I ain't gonna lie. I'm tired too. But I go to work every day. I'm tap out. Rich, go to work. Get in better shape. I don't know what else to tell you. I know you missed a couple weeks. I figured you'd be fresh, ready to go, ready to play. It's the middle of the season. You're supposed to be mid-season form. Come on, man. Lie to me in that moment. Please. Next time, lie to me. Say that you were hurt or that you got a concussion. Something. Lie to me. Don't tell me.
So can I bring up a point to that? How you were just explaining that? So I think hate to keep referencing back to this, but on the Pat McAfee show this week, they had an interesting conversation about that, and I think AJ Hawk brought up the same point that you brought up. Didn't he get hit like a couple plays before that and had to go out because of his knee or something like that? Didn't he get hit in the knee or something when he struggled with his knee?
I don't think he left the game, but I think they called timeout.
So instead of saying in like the post game interview, saying, "Oh, I tapped out because I was tired," you could have just said like, "Oh, as my knee was acting up, I just had to get out for a second to see what was going on with that." I'm like, just use that. Hello, use
I
that.
just saw you limping around like 2 plays before. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, I mean, sometimes lie. I know I hate lying, first of all, but in that situation, it's okay. I'm not gonna hate you for it. Just say something else that's not, you know. Anyways, so I think they made the right move going to Flacco. I don't know if they go to Flacco for the rest of the year. I've heard rumors that they're now looking to trade AR. I mean, there's also rumors out there that Bryce Young's looking to be traded. Could the Colts trade for Bryce Young? And he goes off here in Indianapolis. Undersized quarterback, similar skill set to Jalen Hurts. Stacked in work with Jalen Hurts. Could he go to the Colts? I don't know. They got AR. They got to figure that out. I think they keep AR. I think what they should have been doing this entire time when they drafted him last year, when I saw that we signed Gardner Minshew, was I said that Gardner Minshew needs to start the year. Be the starter all year. And because this kid has not played enough college football, he's only played 10 games in college, he needs to learn how to play the quarterback position at the pro level. You can learn to play quarterback at the pro level without playing. Look at Jordan Love. Look at Aaron Rodgers. Look at Brett Favre. He sat out his rookie year. I mean, look at Phillip Rivers. He sat out for like 2 years.
And Patrick Mahomes sat behind Alex Smith for a year.
Like, hello. Not everybody is fit to start right away. Period.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. They need to figure that out in Indianapolis. They really do. I don't know what's going on over there on West 56th Street. I don't know what kind of drugs they got going on up in there. Give them to me, please, to make me as delusional. But I wanted to put this graphic up for my buddy Nate, big Colts fan. He's a big, optimistic Colts fan. Did you know, in the last 20 years, we've had a lot of back quarterbacks playing in the NFL. Tebow, Marcus Russell, JP Losman. There's probably one more. What if I told you, career-wise, that Anthony Richardson has a lower completion percentage than DeMarcus Russell?
Oh my goodness.
What would you believe me if I told you that?
No, probably not.
Okay, hold on. We sometimes here on the show, guys, we like to text and communicate. I'm going to show you this graphic. You got your phone by you. I know you do.
Yep.
You always got your phone by you. Here you go. Lowest completion percentage among qualified quarterbacks in the last 20 years. Tim Tebow, DeMarcus Russell, JP Losman, and Anthony Richardson. And he has most of the low. 44.5% completion. Tim Tebow completed more passes, y'all. Tim freaking Tebow. Tim Tebow completed more passes than Anthony Richardson.
Is that the Tebow year where he went to the divisional round?
This is 2011. It's 2011, yeah. DeMarcus Russell, 48.8%. That was 2009. JP Losman, 2005, 49.6% completion. Anthony Richardson, 44.4%. That's this year.
Wow.
His career completion percentage is 50%. 50. He has more interceptions than touchdowns. So does DeMarcus Russell, by the way. He's got a can of an arm. But it takes more than having a strong arm and being able to run, play quarterback in the NFL. And there are many red flags about him being a good athlete, but very inefficient at the quarterback position. He can't hit layups. What was the main problem that people were saying about Carson Wentz when he played in Indianapolis? He can't do what? He can't hit the layups. So why did you draft another quarterback? Why did you bring another quarterback in, Chris Ballard, that has the same problem? That can't hit the layups. What are we doing? Can I have your drugs, please, for who your scouts are? Because I need them. I think this guy is good. I wasn't the biggest supporter of him to begin with. Okay, I will say I'm a very big AR critic. I was kind of wishing we would have drafted Will Levis instead. I was that guy. I was banging on the drum for Will Levis.
Do you still want to do that now?
No, I don't now.
Levis
I don't now. I don't want to bang on the drum for any of these quarterbacks that were rookies last year. All of them
bang
are terrible.
on the drum.
I mean, Bryce Young's not that great either.
No.
I mean, who else they have that was drafted last year? Those are the big three.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head.
I'd rather have Malik Willis.
Oh, no, that was this year. Sorry. I was thinking of Drake May for some reason, but Drake May was this year. My bad.
Yeah. So the Colts need to figure it out. I don't care if you got to tank the next 5 years and draft Arch Manning. Do what you got to do. Do what you got to do. Trade for Marvin Harrison Jr. while we're at it, and so that way all the fans can have a Manning to Harrison connection.
Kumbaya.
Kumbaya. Now, I will say what I would love to see happen, but it will never happen. If Irsay would just let Peyton buy into a minor stake of the Colts and was president of football operations, similar to what Elway was with the Broncos. I think that would really ignite the fan base, and it would really get a fire underneath Ballard's butt, because he needs one.
Now, speaking of that, didn't not in the same context, but not with the same team, didn't Tom Brady just buy into the Raiders?
Sure did.
But he can't do any football stuff because he's broadcasting, obviously. But he's a minor owner.
He's a minor owner, but he can't go into other teams' facilities. He can't talk to other players. Hell, he can't even talk about how bad the refs are doing their job on Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
Can't even talk about that. Can't criticize the officiating because you're a part owner. I think the Manning cast would end immediately if Peyton Manning bought into a team, by the way.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Tom Brady's an idiot. If you want to buy into a team, then get out of broadcast. You already got billions of dollars. You made it during your career.
Yeah.
Go be in Las Vegas. I don't know why you don't want to go buy into the Raiders, but buy into the Raiders, I guess. Go you, hoorah, go fight lose. Because that's what the Raiders are. They're a bunch of losers. They went from just win baby to one win maybe. Okay? Losers. That's what they are.
Well, they traded Devontae Adams back to the Jets, and that remarriage with Rodgers and Adams has been very shaky.
They ain't missed a beat. He caught a touchdown pass last night. All's well. All's well if you're Devontae Adams. I know what greatness is. Look what I did in Green Bay. Okay.
Well, you want to wrap up any other trade deadline news you think might happen on the 5th?
We'll see what happens. I think everything's pretty much already happened.
I will say one thing. The Bears need to get either A, an offensive lineman, or B, a pass rusher. And I'm really hoping that they somehow get Myles Garrett or some guy like that.
I've been saying since 2007 the Bears need to get an offensive lineman. Have they done that yet?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Cool. So status quo, they'll get a pass rusher.
And I don't even want to. I'm not even going to discuss.
And it won't be Myles Garrett. It'll be somebody that you didn't expect.
Probably. But it's like
the Bears thing to do.
It is. But the Bears need help. They need to get defense. Like I said, they need to get defensive linemen to help Montez Sweat.
I was gonna say I did like the Sweat move. That was the good one.
But you need somebody to complement him. Is my thing.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And then the offensive line. Yeah. The offensive line's the other big thing that they need to
I think they need to address offensive line before they address defensive line. I think defensive line you can address in the draft. I think you can go draft that.
They got Austin Booker, but Booker's not.
Isn't he a rookie?
He's a rookie from Kansas, and he's not playing as much.
I know who y'all talking about. Yeah, that kid. Yeah. They're trying to develop him before really putting him out there. But aren't you supposed to develop players by playing them?
Oh, that's the coaching thing, and that's a whole another situation that Bears fans are very upset with the head coach over this past couple weeks, and even the offense coordinator for the past, what are we in week 8?
Yeah, 8 weeks. Yeah.
So I think the whole staff in general needs to be fired, and Tyreek Stevenson is not starting on Sunday, which good for Matt Eberflus to say, yeah, you ain't starting, bub.
He'll play. He'll end up playing.
Oh, he will end up playing, but he should not start after that shit that he did. I'm sorry, I said the S word on the stream, but I'm sorry, that fires me up. That whole
he
thing
he
fires
he
anybody up.
he he gonna be playing Sunday. They go starting, but they'll play him in the next defensive series. He'll play the rest of the game. It's just something to make the fans and the media happy in Chicago. I'm just being honest. Okay. Last thing, college football. Got that coming up. Well, we'll talk about college basketball next time, but college football is a big deal right now. Let's take a look at the rankings. I'm just gonna go ahead and get them. Indiana plays tomorrow. They play Michigan State.
While you're getting the rankings up to date, just one quick thing we'll touch on college basketball. College basketball will be starting this week.
Well, it's already kind of started, but yeah, the games
It is.
actually count this time.
Yes.
So here you
And
go.
my team Notre Dame is off this week, so we ain't playing. Got another bye week.
All right, boys. Here is your top 25. Okay. Oregon, Georgia, Penn State, Ohio State, Miami, Texas, good old Rocky Top. Woo. Okay. Anyways, Tennessee, Notre Dame, BYU or BYU, okay. Texas A&M, Iowa State, and Clemson are tied for 11. Indiana is still higher than Alabama.
That's crazy though.
13th
That's very
and 14th.
crazy.
Okay, 15th is Boise State, 16th LSU, 17th Kansas State. Then you got Pittsburgh in 18th, 19th is Ole Miss, 20th is SMU, 21st is Army. 21st is Army. 22nd is Washington State.
Okay.
Colorado is 23rd, Illinois 24th, and Mizzou is 25th. I understand why Indiana didn't move in the rankings last week. I get it. Backup quarterback. You didn't put up 50 against Washington. I understand it. But I think they can go beat Clemson. I think they can go beat Iowa State. Maybe not A&M, but they could at least be 11th.
Yeah,
honestly.
I agree.
So here's the rest of IU's schedule, okay? Michigan State at home.
Mhm.
Or no, Michigan State on the road tomorrow.
Okay.
Michigan at home. Ohio State on the road, and Purdue. And I think you got a bye week somewhere in there.
I think they could win the Michigan game. That Ohio State game is going to be that's the tough one.
People
in
are
my
saying
opinion.
that's a tough one. Look, they played Nebraska. I'm talking about Ohio State first.
Mhm.
They only beat them by 4.
That is true. They only did beat them by 4.
We blew Nebraska out of the stadium after the first quarter. All right, we blew them away. They didn't score until like the third quarter when we benched everybody. All right. Call my shot. In the shoot. I think it's going to be a closer game than what everybody thinks. Everybody thinks, IU's not going to win, blah, 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 blah. I'm sorry. I'm a real big believer in Kurt Signetti. Look what he did at JMU.
Mm-hmm.
I got to be a believer. So Signetti, I mean,
and what I think will
sorry,
help
I got to ride with the team. I'm on a wave. I have never seen IU football this good. Now, don't get me wrong, I do like watching Notre Dame play, but it's Indiana, and I ain't talking about basketball. I'm about football.
Yeah.
Now, IU's done good in basketball so far this year. They're 2-0. They're in exhibitions. I mean, they beat Tennessee in the charity game last week. And they played Marion tonight. I don't know if they won or lost. I'd have to go look at the score later, but the game wasn't on TV, so I didn't really watch. But
yeah,
I really do think Indiana's going to make college football playoff. I really do.
I think so, especially with the 12 teams. 12 teams is wide open. Everybody's wide open.
Because let's look at it this way. They're going to be good enough to go play Soil in December. It's going to be a thing. They're going to be playing at Lucas Oil Stadium for a Big Ten title. I never thought I'd see that in my lifetime. I never really thought I would see IU playing in a Big Ten football championship game.
But you might be going up against Oregon though, and Oregon's number 1 in the nation. Depending on what happens the rest of the way.
I don't care what happens. Oregon's a good team, and I do respect their talent because I do love Dylan Gabriel. He's a great quarterback, and he's a lefty. I'm a lefty.
Dan Lanning, Coach Lanning, man, that man fires me up.
Dan Lanning's a very good coach. Yes.
But I think what also will help your case with IU in a couple of weeks is the big game of this weekend. Penn State beating Ohio State tomorrow, 3-4. That will help your case in a couple of weeks if Ohio State loses that game tomorrow.
Where is the game? Is it?
It is at Penn State. It is at Penn State tomorrow.
Just don't see them lose it at home like that, and it's probably a whiteout game for them too.
Unfortunately, it is not. It's a big noon on Fox game, and the whiteout they're going to be doing next week against Michigan because they had a whole conversation about that this week.
They would make it the next week, wouldn't they?
Yep.
Of course. Well, it's big noon. It's a big deal.
And you're gonna have big noon kickoff and college game day in the same area.
Are they going to be playing at noon tomorrow?
They are.
Give me Penn State.
I agree.
Just so you know, give me Penn State
I
for
agree.
tomorrow. I think Ohio State's going to fall to 6-2. Yeah. I think it's just going to be one of those things where Ohio State's good, but they're not as good like they have been. The same thing with Michigan. Michigan's a solid team this year. They're okay. I think they're going to make a bowl game. They'll probably go like 7-5, 6-6 down the rest of the way. I mean, heck, could you imagine Ohio State with 3 losses? Say they lose to Penn State tomorrow, and then they lose
to IU.
Then they lose to 4 losses. Then to
Michigan at the end of the year too.
Yeah, and that's back-to-back
wild.
games as well, by the way, because then they play. No, not quite back-to-back. No, it is back-to-back. They play Ohio State. IU plays Ohio State, and they play Purdue. And Ohio State plays IU. And they play Michigan. So I think that's how they wrap up the regular season.
And IU is on Peacock only tomorrow, correct?
Who are they playing? Michigan State.
Yep.
Just cancel my Peacock.
And I'm looking at the schedule for
Joe,
tomorrow.
help a brother out. If you're listening, I need you to stream the IU game tomorrow on Peacock. All right? Stream the IU game. I will stream you your Illinois game. Okay. We have a deal. I'll get you Illinois. You get me IU because we got wrestling to watch tomorrow. Crown Jewel, it's thing, I guess. I said we wouldn't talk about wrestling. It's the only thing I'm going to say. I'm just saying what's happening tomorrow. It's not anything else. But
so speaking of also college football matchups tomorrow, in case we want to say these are going to be decent matchups, Oregon and Michigan play tomorrow. Florida and Georgia play tomorrow. I'm trying to think who else is playing here tomorrow. Texas A&M, South Carolina. That's the primetime game tomorrow night. Wisconsin and Iowa.
Kentucky, Tennessee.
That's a rivalry game. Kentucky will probably get blown out the doors. So, I mean, outside the Penn State game tomorrow, that's probably going to be the game of the day.
Miami plays Duke tomorrow. Duke's probably
they do. Yeah.
Who's A&M playing tomorrow? Who we got? South Carolina. They'll win that game.
Yep.
That'll be easy.
That's the
BYU plays nobody tomorrow. They are off this week. They play Utah next week.
Like I said, outside of Penn State's game tomorrow, that's going to be the game of the day, in my opinion.
Yeah, because Boise State's playing right now. It's not even close. They're blowing San Diego State out of the water, 42-10. That game ain't even close.
So you gave IU's schedule the rest of the way. My team, Notre Dame, right here, folks. The schedule for the rest of the way for the Irish: they play in Florida State, which should be an easy dub because Florida State's god awful. Then they're playing Virginia. Then they play Army, who Army's undefeated right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then they play USC to wrap up the year. And USC's terrible.
Notre Dame just needs to join Big Ten.
I agree.
Just do it. Just do it.
And
it's fine.
Outside the Army game, they should win all the rest of the games. Army is the only toss-up just because Army's undefeated. And Army's a decent football team this year.
See, it's not so much that they're undefeated, okay? Because didn't y'all play Navy?
We did not play Navy this year, no.
Oh, okay, never mind. Okay. I've noticed a lot of teams, when they play a team like Army and they play Navy, they struggle with the triple option really bad because you don't see it played anywhere else anymore in the college game. You kind of have a little bit of a version of it with the RPO stuff, but a true triple option attack, you don't see that in today's college game very often. And I know that there is a rivalry between Notre Dame and Army and Navy. I get it,
Yeah.
but that might be a game where y'all might lose. And I'm just saying it is strictly from a fact
Oh
that
yeah.
they don't see a triple option.
No,
They
they
don't.
don't.
They don't have. They
Because
don't play anybody.
Georgia Tech doesn't run triple option anymore.
No, that's only the academy that's pretty
Yeah.
much. Except Air Force. Well, and what's unique about Army, because I did watch them the other week, they have incorporated a little bit of a pass game this year. Like they're not just sitting there running the triple option every play. That's a big bulk of their offense, but they did adapt a little bit of a passing game, which I think is what's got everybody in a tizzy. But so we'll wrap up with this, and then we can. But not a lot of people know this. So Bob Knight died last year. Indiana coach. Okay. Do you know where he coached before he coached at IU? He was a head coach at Army.
Okay.
Okay. A dream of mine here in the next few years. I don't care how it happens. I don't care if it's basketball. I don't care if it's football. I'd love to see an Indiana and Army national championship game, or at least to see Indiana and Army play each other the ball.
Yeah.
Whether it happens or not, I don't know. Probably not, but it'd be cool to see happen. But that's gonna wrap it up for me. Any final thoughts? Anything you want to point out?
Busy sports
Bears.
weekend.
Who the Bears play on Sunday?
We're playing the Cardinals. We're going to go out to Arizona and play Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr.
You guys
Probably. But who knows? It's the Bears, and we saw what happened last week.
fair enough. The Colts play Minnesota on Sunday Night Football.
Ooh, how excited are you, bud?
I'm not. I think they're gonna get their doors blown off. I think the win. Here's the thing. Here's what's most frustrating about watching the Colts, y'all. It's kind of like watching the Bears. The Bears have better options on offense, but they just don't use them. I watched the Colts last 6 weeks. They got better options at quarterback, but they just choose to play the guy that needs the experience. So now they're going to the old man. I think they go 13-4. We're 4-4.
No.
Great. Will it happen? No, it won't happen. We'll probably go 10-7. But Colts need to figure it out. Bears need to figure it out. It's going to be a long season. I'm here for it. But until next time.
I was going to say, we're getting into the part of the football season now with the holidays and December football. This is about time where you better start knowing what your team is and start laying the wood and booking down and heading toward the playoffs.
Yeah. But until next time, guys, this is the All-Star Sports Report. I'm Gary. That's Mike. We're going to try to record every Friday. That's the goal. Every Friday.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be live for you on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and TikTok on All-Star 15 TV. Thanks again, AJ, for letting us crash your channel. And of course, be sure to pick up your W energy drink that is flavorful, focused on energy, and designed to be clean, and all those things. AS15 TV for 10% off of your order. Visit w.gg. With that, I am Gary, and we will see